Hi everyone, it's Rob Neely again. I want to demonstrate for you today something you may have seen in one of my classes, but this is going to be a little bit more thorough. The first part is just a reminder of how to do a 3-block title page for a formal or informal report. The second, which is related, is how to do a continuation page header and make sure that does not end up on this 3-block title page. So if you're ready to go, you can see we're looking at a Microsoft Word screen and there's nothing there. So I'm going to start to get some stuff in place, and then shortly after I begin typing, I'll pause the video, complete the typing, and show you the completed product. How does that sound? So the first step is to go up to Styles and do no spacing. And you can see I've just done that. I am also going to change my font to 12 points. Everything on this page needs to be centered horizontally and vertically. So I'm going to do the horizontal centering now. You can see me pointing at it and clicking. Then a little bit later, I will do the centering vertically for the whole page. We need to make sure it only applies to this section. So let me start to do a little bit of typing, and then I'll pause when this is done. We start out in bold, so I'm just going to do bold there, and in uppercase by typing a title. So this title is going to be, didn't do uppercase there. Here we go. Social media marketing. If we have a subtitle, we would press enter twice and type the subtitle. It is also horizontally centered. It is bold but not uppercase. So 1, 2, and I'll pretend that I do have a subtitle here. A report on a Canadian scene. So while I'm off camera, I'm going to finish this 3-block title page, and then I will scroll through it for you, and you can see what it looks like when it's done. How's that sound? So here's my 3-block title page from the top down. You can see the title and the subtitle. I've pressed enter 6 times, or a consistent amount of times, let's call it for later. Prepared by, pressed enter a couple of times, my name, title, where I work. Another press of the enter key 6 times or consistently. Submitted to, as you can see, you, Seneca College students in the Office Admin programs. Enter twice more and type today's date. So it is centered horizontally. The bolding, the uppercase is where it needs to be. I did not press enter again after today's date. I'm going to turn on the ShowHide codes for you, so you can see exactly where I'm at. I'm going to click at the end of where I was, and now insert a next page section break. The value of that is I can control page numbering and header footers on this page, meaning I don't want any, as well as on other pages where I could have something separate. So to do a section break, layout, breaks, next page. Now it's already done it, and I'm back in centering, so let me scroll up and take care of a couple of things with you. With the ShowHide paragraph codes on, you can clearly see the section breaks, so that's kind of nice, that's helpful. When I go down to the second page, it's currently center indented as well, center aligned as well. I'm going to go home and turn that off. And I'm going to pretend this is the first page of my Unbound report. So I'll press enter a few times to move down to approximately the 2-inch point. From this point, I'm going to do something special, which you've seen me do before. Set to double spacing. And I'll begin to type the report right here by pressing tab or setting a first line indent. and begin to type the content. I'm going to head away from this page and pause the video while I do that. But in the meantime, let me do something special. Apologies for the background noise. I live in a busy area of town. Here I am back on the 3-block title page. I need to center this vertically. So remember how we did that? Perhaps you haven't seen this yet. Go to Layout on the ribbon. Go to Page Setup. When you get there, head over to the Layout tab. Now you should be able to see within a few seconds what I'm looking at, but what I'm looking at is this. This is a Microsoft Word default. It normally aligns text to the top of the page. Let me change that to center. Let me just scroll down and show you this part. This can only apply to this section. If this wasn't saying this, if it said something else like whole document, all my pages in this report would be vertically centered. So this looks good to me. I'm going to click OK. If I pull back, View, One Page, you can see how it looks. I know the image is small, but it's vertically and horizontally centered on one page without my having to press the Enter key extra times. So I'm going to go back to page width. I'm going to go to the second page and begin the report. And when I'm ready to do the third page, or the second real page of the report, I will get back to the video. Okay? Just hang in there for a moment. So we left off, folks, where I'd finished this 3-block title page, and I'm just going to scroll down again. You can see no footer or anything. And I began the first actual page of an Unbound report. Notice I press Enter several times so that report would start at approximately 2 inches down. Notice also several other things. One is that I'm using a first line indent for everything but section headings, or headings as you might call them. I had set my tab to 0.25 or 1/4 of an inch because I think that looks a little more elegant than not doing so. So you can see the way it looks right now. As I scroll down, and I'm just going to turn off these paragraph markers, you can see that any heading, and there's the first one, and I'll just highlight it, is uppercase and bold and aligned to the left margin. Then I begin again, first line indenting, and I type my first little bit of text. This that I'm going to highlight is also first line indented. 1 or 2, maybe 3 words that are in bold, but normal title case. This is a paragraph heading. Memory serves, we follow that by 2 spaces and dig in. I just caught something. Hopefully you did too. That should also be bold and uppercase. Then I start my new paragraph with a paragraph heading. I go on to type and type, and then suddenly you see this, which does not make any sense at all. That is Latin text in the sense that it is real Latin words, but it's just filler text, just to fill the rest of my page. I now find myself on the third page of the document, the second page of the report. This is where I need to start thinking about a continuation page header. Now, that's assumed the report was going to a specific person, like the president of Seneca College. So that's the recipient, so we need to keep that in mind. We also need, in a continuation page header, to probably set the header margin to a larger amount, say 1 inch. To follow the recipient's name by the page, the word page, and the page number inserted, then the date. And then finally, to make sure we press Enter once or twice to leave spacing on each and every page. The difficulty with this continuation page header is it's probably going to, or might, depending on how we handle it, end up on all pages. We don't really want it at all on the 3-block title page or on a cover page. And we don't really want or need it on the first actual page of the report. So we've got a little work to do. So I'm going to just put this on pause another time and get back to you to show you how I would handle this. So let's do a little bit of quick scrolling. I'm on my 3-block title page. There is no header. So I'm just going to scroll down. You can see the paragraph markers. You can see the section break. I'm on the first real page of the report. And again, no header. And you've already seen this page. I'm going to scroll down through the report to the second real page of the report. Now if you look up in this area, you can see I have the name of the recipient, the page and the page number inserted, and the date, and then I pressed enter an extra time. What you can't see is that I also set the header margin to 1 inch. Nor can you see anywhere why this is showing me page 2, and it's supposed to do that, rather than page 3, the physical page I'm on. So let me get rid of all this, and I'll come back and show you how I did it. There are other ways to do this, and I suppose you'll find your own way around it. It can be a very frustrating thing until you learn what some of the buttons and features do. So I'll get back to you. So by default, Word numbers its pages sequentially. But if this is actually the second page of the report, even though it's physically page 3, we want the page number to read page 2 here. We also need to make some changes so the header doesn't end up anywhere else but here. In other words, it's going to start here and continue on all the way down. So we can do this anywhere, but just to be sure, I'm going to make sure that I'm on the correct page, first page of the report, and I want to renumber pages. You can do this anywhere. You can click anywhere on this page, and in fact probably on the next page, but I want to make sure I reset the page numbering. So if you're looking here, I'm in the insert menu. I'm going to go to page number. I'm not putting the page number here. Here's what I'm doing. Format page numbers, and I want to click Start At because I want page numbering to restart at this point. I'm going to click OK. I haven't inserted the page numbers, so you can't see evidence of this yet. So scroll down, scroll down. I'm on the page where I actually want the header, continuation page header, to begin to appear. I'm going to go up into the header area and double click, and if we quickly have a look at some things, header from the top is 0.49 or half an inch almost. From the bottom it's half an inch. So let me start this and make sure it's at 1 inch. And that's what's normally done for continuation page headers. Now I need to look at something very closely. The link to previous button, and this is what can make everything a little bit crazy. You may see that button pressed in already, as if it had been pressed in, and that would be a Word default thing to do. We need to make sure it's not pressed in, that it looks like this. We also need to make sure at this point that we choose a different first page, because I don't want this header ending up on the page before it. Okay, so let's see if this actually works. I've done some initial settings. Now I have to type the recipient's name, type the word page, add a space, and carefully insert the page number. Now we don't want to use any of these. We need to put it in the current position because we're working inside a header. We don't want to throw that all askew by changing things here. We just want to add a page number. Current position, and go. If that reads page 2, and this is the second page of the report, we're on track. Resetting the page number seems to work. Press enter one more time, type today's date, enter, and enter to provide extra spacing. Now at this point, I'm hoping, assuming, that the continuation page header doesn't appear anywhere else, but I can find that out in a couple of ways. One is just by seeing if the previous button works, so it's going to hop up a page or two. And the other is just by scrolling. So while I'm still in the header, this is the first real page of the report. We did it. No header. And this is the 3-block title page, no header. So we've accomplished everything we needed to by paying close attention to some of the buttons and some of the settings that you find when you're inside a header or footer. Remember, link to previous should not be clicked. We might need to unclick it to start the process. Different first page should be clicked because we don't want this to appear before this point. And finally, the header from top was set to 1 inch. You might hear different things about that. So I'm going to close this now by double-clicking in the document, turning off the codes. If I haven't saved this yet, and I haven't, I would save it as maybe Unbound report example. And that's it. I hope you liked this video and that it was useful for you. See you next time.